Check the hair.
Do this, and I'll holler at you tomorrow.
Next one of our meetings, we're gonna get Steve to do it on via drone.
Okay, all right, I'll holler at you.
You know, they're, what's that?
12:30.
Yes.
Just remember.
I learned how to live stream. I'm doing it Saturday and live stream for about 2 minutes.
Oh, there's no Craig. There's no Mike, there's no Craig.
Southern Bobby the other night, got it on, that's the live stream the whole time.
There's no Craig.
Tony called me, told me right away.
Where's Mike? There's no Craig. That's Brother Craig.
You're late, Brother Craig.
No, you don't call him late.
Countdown.
Gene, thanks for the.
That does look pretty.
Fire station, that's next. Is that your
I'm not sure I like it when you show up at 9. And I know it is.
At least it's a regular monthly meeting, though. Every month. I wouldn't make them all, but I'm here right here.
The regular.
Every year.
Okay, you're forgiven. Like, I'm gonna get in church, and you're not going there to get this.
Okay, now we can start the meeting.
We can start now.
All right, I call the meeting to order. We're live on YouTube. We've got everyone present. Our attorney Rocky Eaton, our clerk Thomas Martin, if Alderman Blake Nobles would lead us in prayer and pledge.
Father God, thank you so much for another opportunity for us to come together and for our city to speak to us and for us to offer leadership. I pray that we do so in your name and we do so with your guidance. As issues come before us tonight and as our people come before us, I pray that we just make the right choices and follow the wisdom that you've given us. In your name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a?
No, I didn't add that. I'll have to do it here.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda? And I would add to the email that we had gotten earlier, we'll get Steve and Matt up here to talk about some pumps that we need for a lift station that we have. But I'll add that onto the agenda as well. Is there a motion to
I'll
adopt
make
the
the
agenda?
motion to approve with the additions.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, is there a motion to accept the consent agendas number 1, 2, and 3?
Motion.
Is there a second? Well, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, anybody sign up for, Steve, has anybody signed up for
Is anybody?
public comment?
No, sir.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh, Harold, you just talk anytime anyway, though.
Daddy.
Oh, yeah, we can go ahead and handle that. We have no public comments, no proclamations, and resolutions. We will actually add, Steve, if you would, let's add this under bids and quotes. Could just come up and kind of tell us what's going on.
We had a lift station on Wood Bridge, I believe,
What's that?
Woodside, that went out. over the weekend. We checked that morning, half of the system was working in the control panel, the other half it went down. And we had so much rain and infiltration caused the pumps to burn on. But, we're requesting 2 new pumps and a new control panel. We should have them installed hopefully by Friday, Monday at the latest.
Okay.
We have a bypass pump, hooked up bypassing right now, so everything's working as should be for right now. That's really all I have at this time. If anybody has any questions.
I didn't want to say, appreciate y'all getting on the Chapel Hill so quick the other night. I got a call about 11:30 that night, and y'all, I called Mike real quick, and y'all got on it quick.
Yes, sir. And as we told y'all in the beginning, you know, unless there's some kind of circumstances where we can't, safety being one of them, we will get to the job.
You know, I heard about the situation on Woolard, first, Matt had called, everything was going on. And I knew everything that was going on up front before the first constituent called. And I was able to relay, it's already on the way, and it was within, I won't say an hour, you had everything back and running. And I can't thank you enough on behalf of the constituents who were going through that uncomfortable situation. Thank you from them too.
And we're gonna try to let you know so your constituents, you know, because they're gonna call y'all, they're gonna call the PD, they're gonna call the mayor, depending on what time of day it is. But we want to try to bring y'all up to speed as much as we know. That way, you know, it doesn't create mass chaos.
Awesome.
Are you gonna be here after the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need to ask you that one thing.
Yes, sir. Anybody got any
Any
questions?
other questions? How do we, what kind of,
You think
This is on another
accept that
issue.
quote,
how
accept
do
the
you,
quote from, who was the cheaper one?
Cooper Electric.
Same product, I assume I already looked at it, same product, and a different, thing for $4,000 roughly,
Yes, sir.
not a hard choice.
And the other thing we're probably gonna do is send those pumps back and get them rebuilt, so we'll have something on the shelf. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, so they're not, it's not core charge. These pumps are core, these are actually new pumps, not core charge pumps.
Yes, sir. They do.
Okay. And then, I'm not familiar with the Barbusa, I'm familiar with Champion, pump stocks, you know, so the ones coming from Richland, how do you guys use them?
Yes, sir.
A lot?
They're good pumps. They've got a warranty, 1-year warranty. They stand behind their warranty.
Most of them 1 year, Champion has 1 year too, right?
Right.
And then you said one pump's bad, the one's good, or, but it ran all night?
Yeah, it ran by
Okay.
itself
And
and then
then, yeah, and then the,
overloaded.
and the new, electric, okay.
Yes, sir.
oddly enough, I don't know if you said it, they had checked them earlier in the day.
Yeah, they checked them, and what happens is, when you have a storm like that, electrical storm, it'll kill one side of, you got 2 sides in a panel, so it kill one side, and the other side just became overwhelmed. But we're still working on evaluations for lift stations. We're going through trying to figure out exactly what size pumps, control panels, and we're gonna try to have a lot of spare parts on the shelf.
You were talking earlier today, we would also run through, not to belabor this, go through our
Generator.
backup generator system and see what we can do there to make sure we're ready for anything.
Yes, we've got some generators we gotta look at, and we're gonna be evaluating those as well.
Okay.
And I guess
we got one good, at least we start with one good lift station.
That's right, that's right.
It's 59 more to go, but,
By my house and it's downhill. Thank you, your guys did a really good job with the water over the weekend, busted lines. I saw a thank you and then a kick in the backside, but griping about it on the same page.
I'll make a motion, we accept the quote.
already got a motion and a second, all in favor?
And that was the Cooper Electric quote.
Yes,
Good deal, thanks, Dave.
appreciate y'all work.
No old business, hey, come on up here, Mark, number 4, request to address the board regarding sewer on Tyner Road at Evelyn Gandy.
Hey, because maybe why I'll buy it. Because, you know, if that was an emergency, you know, if we need to do that on yesterday, or even, you know, then we may would have called us in and done an emergency, you know, get a couple of us together.
We had that conversation, that way you don't have to get too close, and it's pretty handy, I know you have the familiarity to be able to get some other numbers whenever we need it as
Yeah,
well.
and we're gonna bring that to you day one when we do have this situation.
Sorry about that.
No, no problem.
Good, go ahead, Mark.
Okay,
Okay, so are y'all familiar with what lot we're talking about in front of Lowe's, the last one,
That's
corner
the
of
paper we handed, that's
Edmund
not it, that's
Gandy and
different.
Tyner?
That's another.
And they're talking about the little small triangle where they had the truck at.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it seems small, but it's 0.98 acres.
That is,
Yeah,
it's all downhill.
no, we cut out that part. It just has that look, and that has caused a problem in selling it, but I think once somebody puts a building there, everybody's gonna realize what a great lot it is. I think it's gonna be like a
You're
billboard.
a salesman.
Everybody coming in.
Everybody knows what part it is, it's where the old Chick-fil-A truck was at.
Correct.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So we have gotten an official offer on it, but
Are you good?
they want us, to guarantee in the contract that all utilities come to it. And, talking to the mayor and John Weeks realized that sewer does not. Sewer comes to Keesler on the east side lot line of Keesler. And John's saying that's, what do you say, it's about 7 feet deep there, which is not gonna be deep enough because this lot drops down.
They can't do gravity on sewer
Right.
there.
And so, he mentioned something about that y'all are working on getting the, north side past that going west. But obviously, I mean, if y'all pass that today, it's not gonna help us out. So that is right there, 150 feet, I think, to that, sewer line. And John was saying probably our quickest, best solution is going to be basically a grinder pump going to, and then a 2-inch line just going across the city easement in front of Keesler. And so I didn't know if y'all had made any plans to provide sewer to there or whatever. I've done some preliminary, looks, talking to Chris Breedland, Warren Breedland's son, if y'all are familiar with them. They do a lot of the septic and grinder and things, and told him, this would be for a restaurant. And, he's saying that it would probably be, they would be looking for a duplex grinder pump, which is very similar to your home one, little beefier, but the duplex has 2 motors in case, I guess, kind of like what you were talking about, so that, for a restaurant, if one goes out, they can limp along until that gets replaced. And so I guess what we're here asking for is, will the city, get us sewer to that lot? And he said, it would be approximately $6,000 for that. And, then only bring a 2-inch line across there. And so, I mean, looking at it from the city standpoint, I don't know what obligation the city has of getting sewer to a place, but, Dr. Calhoun, I tried to do some numbers to justify it, and to me, it way over justifies it. And not just being a salesman, I think the numbers really do. I mean, his lot alone, that vacant lot for 5 years, he has been paying, over $2,000 just to the city of Petal and the Petal School District, which I believe should be included in on that as part of our value here. But $2,043 a year for 5 years. I mean, he's paid $10,000, that lot just sitting there with no utilities. And also looking at what this restaurant should be, what the property taxes alone would be on it, I'm estimating it's gonna be $10,000 a year. And that's just taking everything out there, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy's, all of those, and kind of coming up with an average. And that's $10,000 to the city of Petal and Petal separate school only, not Barton County. That and the fact that, I don't know how many people remember the details of it, but they bought the last lot there, the Petal animal ER. And when they bought that from Dr. York, that was as far as the street went. It ended right there with the last turn in to Lowe's. Well, this remaining 2.44 acres was there, and he inquired about it, and so we got Dr. York, and then finally came up with that he would buy it, Dr. Calhoun would buy it himself if Dr. York would put in the road. And so You can say Dr. York put it in, but also he put it in because Dr. Calhoun said he would buy it if he would do it. So by him buying that, I mean, that has gotten the taxes for, well, first giving credit for taxes for Petal ER, then taxes for Keesler, the dental clinic, and, well, I'm forgetting right there. Is that it? But those, yeah, those taxes alone have been, they are just to the city of Petal once again. And the other thing is, I've tried to find, I've asked many people what this 3%, what it equates to, and then how much of the 7% food tax does the city of Petal get directly. The closest I've come to is that the 7%, 18% of the 7% Petal gets.
Yeah.
And then they get all of the 3%. I just really have no idea what the gross sales of any of these are.
We're having about $82,000 a month right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is like
Oh,
He's trying to find out individual
Yeah,
restaurants.
individuals. Told me that's just lagniappe on top of it. But I mean, just the mere fact that he has paid $10,000 on that vacant lot that does not have sewer to it in the past 5 years, I mean, that's gonna more than pay for this system. So,
I'm sorry, Mark.
no, I just, that's what we're saying, that's what needs to happen.
Any questions? Obviously, I've talked to John a little bit about this. We're obviously under no obligation to do anything in this situation. And from a recommendation standpoint, obviously, we should be careful, because obviously we want to be business friendly and be several of business owners in here, and obviously, we all get a paycheck from somebody, in that situation as well. I know on the south side, basically the developer came in and put the stuff in, so I hope we would weigh that as well. But obviously we want more stuff to come here. And obviously we're working to get some stuff on the other side of the Gandy as well. That would make that a more viable, entity as well. But, I would say keep that in mind, on the board side.
Can we, basically get somebody come in and give us a pretty accurate price of what it
I
costs?
think he's fairly accurate, just talking to John, I usually round up big numbers, so we know it'll be, south of, we feel fairly certain it'll be south of 10 grand.
Yeah.
From that standpoint. Obviously, we've got a way with looking at the people on the south side that basically pay for their own, so we do have to look.
But they didn't have to do any kind of lift or anything, they just ran straight
Yeah,
sewer pipe.
they tapped in, yeah.
Yeah, but Mark, we would have, I'm not a fan of grinder pumps
Yeah, I mean-
because all, in my area, I know more about grinder pumps than I really choose to know about because it's
I've
part of
got
the road.
one, so go ahead.
Oh, my God.
But if we don't do that, then
You
this,
have to do it to pump it up, because you're gonna pump it up 6-inch line and you're pumping a restaurant which has thicker effluent.
Right.
Unfortunately, I know too much about that, but, yeah, that is what it is.
but,
The flip side is if we don't do this piece of property is gonna be sitting there until we do put, Evelyn Gandy North in. And as
And
much
there's-
as I want that tomorrow, that's gonna be.
There's gonna be some complications to that because the Gandy stuff isn't necessarily gonna bore under the road there.
Might not.
But it would be an opportunity,
reach to
yes,
that.
yes.
Okay.
Because you could have some development on the other side of the road too, up there kind of by Lowe's.
It's a flip between not wanting to play favorites, as it would seem to some people, and actually making the money off of this piece of property for the next couple of years. Because in all honesty, if this doesn't go in because of this issue, there's a chance that somebody else might not go in. Then again, at the same time, as Drew said, if somebody wants a business there, that extra bit of money probably isn't gonna stop them. So, I don't know, I'm torn, you guys.
I'd say it would set a slippery precedent moving forward. We've told several people no on this issue up to this point, and it's not always about sewer, sometimes it's about driveways, and that kind of thing. If this was something we were requesting that would affect a larger area of the city, that is a different conversation. But this sounds a lot like we're investing in your investment.
Mark, what is the timeframe on this?
what do you mean?
That y'all?
They're waiting for our response now. I mean, they're quite possibly looking at other places. My only response to that is, I mean, maybe a driveway, think whatever, be right. If it doesn't happen, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer for money-wise, a business decision, for the city to make a business decision. In 1 year alone, just the property taxes, much less the sales taxes, it will almost double pay for itself. So that can move to the city, that is a no-brainer. I mean, that restaurant sits there 5 years, then, my goodness, that's $50,000 in, property taxes alone, forget the sales tax. So that would be the city making a $6,000 to $8,000 investment to make $10,000 a year, not counting the extra. So pretty much a guaranteed $10,000 a year property taxes, and then whatever else you get off sales tax. So to me, it's a very smart business decision for the city. You know, it's not like somebody's driveway, well, we're just helping you out, but we're not gonna get what we spend on it for back in taxes from you. I get that, that'd be showing favorites. Everybody come to you, hey, I need a ditch, I need a driveway moved over here or added, or whatever. You can't turn around and charge them double what it costs you every year. You know? This, you are charging them double what it costs you from here on out.
Well, Mark, we get it. If it was Craig's world, I'd give you the 10 grand and walk off, but there's people watching this thing and saying, you're giving somebody $10,000 up at a restaurant.
So that we can make 10,000 a year.
I get that, but you understand that the reason we're interested in going on that side is because this side's getting full. There's not a whole lot to develop on that. We want to develop that side. But every time somebody steps in, the one thing we don't want is, I'm a businessman, I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, if I could collect the taxes, it's a no-brainer. I'd give you $10,000 a second.
I will say this,
I
will
get
say
it,
this,
I
in all
get it.
fairness, Chick-fil-A, and that's a multi-million-dollar operation that Hattiesburg Clinic's doing, no considerations. When they, matter of fact, I think Chick-fil-A asked, but there weren't any given in that situation.
Ask for, they don't have sewer there?
No, they're asking for,
So
good
it's
sense.
there.
For what?
Usually I think tax deductions, maybe, hey, maybe
Oh,
do it.
well, yeah, I mean, we're not asking, we're just asking to be able to function.
And I know this is a small number, that's what's.
I mean, my only argument is it's a smart business decision for the
Oh,
city.
no, I know that. That's always the tough part about it. Like Craig says, if this was Tony Ducker Inc., y'all would be on your way home now.
It is.
I think I made the argument one time, we're not Middle Inc.
All I gotta do is go down one section of my ward and start talking grinder pumps, and I'll have a 5-hour conversation.
Can I just ask, I'm not sure, the sidebar that was talked here, so I'm not sure if there's legal biases given or not.
No.
I mean, so I appreciate
I mean, obviously legally, we can.
The question
It's a
was
little
asked,
more,
if
right?
we install the pipe and the pump, are we legally responsible if it breaks because of what I'm afraid of and what Frank Lake knows that? Are we
That's what
legally
I don't
responsible?
understand. We're talking explain what's more time.
Yeah, and that's the same question I have, it's like I said, if we own it forever, especially a pump underneath the restaurant, grease and whatever, or if it's a restaurant, whatever type of restaurant, we're on the hook for maintenance for that for forever, and, that's, we know.
I know if we require them to have them, then we put on this and here on that.
But.
What is the compromise? Can we not say that y'all pay for the installation and then the property owner will be
I would
responsible?
assume that we can set it up any which way you wanted to.
I
That's
think,
what we're talking about
I
figuring
mean, I think that
out.
we could put in the pipe, that's part of the sewage and that's a one-time only thing. What we didn't want to get stuck with is buying a pump, and that's city property. We can't give away city property. We put a city pump under your restaurant, then it breaks.
Right.
Who's on the hook for it? The replacement.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't know. And that's
Mark, I
what
would
we really
have
don't want it to be the city.
Tomorrow if they saw me paying for this.
But if you're saying, can we put in the piping and run the piping, I feel like that we could. And especially if we're gonna get a sewer easement from you that shows where our lines are. And, from there, I mean, that's still gonna help you a lot financially. Then the only thing that you're paying for is the pump that you buy. And you're on the hook for that, and we're okay with
I
that.
don't have a problem with that,
So-
doing the pipe, because we're eventually gonna have sewer there anyway. Yeah, and this is a start. But as far as, like I said, the problem I had also is with the grinder pump.
Well, that is part of the thing is, even if we do have Lincoln anymore, we might not have a pipe there, because like Tony's saying. it might not run.
There's a lift station in the neighborhood back there off of
Yeah.
Arden Lane or something, so some of the versions that I've seen wouldn't even really get down that way.
It's uphill.
We would redo that lift station and everything would stay on that side of Tyner Road. The
Where's the
water
pipe?
would come through.
Yeah.
Mike, how far is it to that lift station they're talking about?
It's a good little business.
Uphill.
Yes.
So,
It's to the manhole, isn't it?
so just going back to the legal.
Are we talking about putting
Uh,
a pump there at that location?
And going in front of,
It
and going in front of Keithler.
won't go to our, for that lift station over there.
Yeah, that's too
Yeah, that
long.
would be.
We have put stuff in before, and then they would be responsible thereafter for the gravel pump or whatever, because we know the misuse and stuff that sometimes happen, takes us off the hook. So. that's why
So we have a
it's-
precedent of buying, and this is,
Start,
nothing, I'll just scratch that question.
So I guess the kind of follow on is to, make sure that we're talking about, taxpayer money, and make sure that that's up to it. What happens, we do this work, and you come back and say the deal fell through?
Well, no, it would happen for construction startup.
But I'm just saying, we spend taxpayer money, and something happens, your guy goes under, you go under, whatever in that place. This is what we're talking about, this kind of flip-flop pro, that we're gonna get this tax revenue coming in, and it doesn't happen. What do we tell our constituents to say, we spent money on a pipe that to nowhere?
Well, in its location, I think it's a very good odds gamble in its location, that even if this exact restaurant went out of business, that it probably wouldn't sit there too long vacant. I mean, I tell people all the time, I've never seen a house that wouldn't sell.
I have.
It would not sell at any price.
At any price.
That's my point. I've never seen a house that would not
We're
sell.
talking about, basically, hey, you do this, and we're gonna get a tax revenue, which I think is great for business, and I'm for that. I just wanna make sure that we don't expend, funds to do anything.
Let me ask this
What if
question.
Walmart moves next week? I'm sure we did a bunch,
Let me ask you a question, Mark, maybe this will be helpful. I think I've heard the cost somewhere under 10, maybe north of 6, I think was something I heard.
That's with the grinder pump.
That's the grinder pump, so that's what I'm saying. So when we're looking at the cost, what is the cost of just us laying the pipe versus the grinder pump?
just the 2-inch pipe
Yeah,
from
just
the
that-
end of Case.
Get into your property. Get into your property.
Allowing y'all.
There's,
to
there's,
put
we got two clear water guys here, right here.
Grinder pump, what, 3
About
grand?
what?
Yeah, grinder pumps, depending with your control panel, your two grinders, 3,500, probably 1,500, 2,000 and pipe. How many feet, 150 feet?
I think it's 150.
Let's just say 200 feet.
But I think that's their main question, how much to run from one side of Keesler to the other, the 2-inch pipe? They don't have to go uphill or downhill or to.
The pipe is,
I wouldn't say much.
it's a long-term investment by the city.
Yeah, boring
As
involved.
opposed to the pump.
What's that?
You'll have boring involved in the two driveways on Keystone.
Oh, that's the one that got
That's
rid of
That is
that.
some industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm great with that, if we can leave the
Wanna
price.
compromise there?
Well,
Would the company be okay with that? I know that you were talking about them wanting all their services provided. But if we kind of met in that middle part of laying down the pipes and then allowing you guys or the company to buy the actual grinder pump and install that.
Let me say, at the bare minimum, we would certainly hope the city would at least run the 2-inch pipe over there. And then we understand the city not wanting to be responsible for a grinder pump. But if this one-time investment, I'm asking the attorney, can we do that in the beginning phases of it? And before it is sold off, he signs off that it is his and his responsibility before it sells to whoever.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that grinder pump, that's what I feel like I need to look at more research on. As far as if you're asking, can the city spend money on that and then give it away essentially? But I'm telling you that if you look at the members on this board and their body language, that they do seem like they're ready to give you the sewer line, the pipe.
and typically what happens is in grinder situations, the city usually has an ordinance. And what we always recommend as a company is that the homeowner or the business maintain, pay for the electricity for their grinder pump. I have seen in some instances where the city pays for the power, homeowner pays for the grinder. It's just however the board wants to do it. I don't, and I did overspeak a while ago. I didn't realize there was gonna be road boards involved. So, I mean, you're probably gonna be looking at upwards of $4,000 per pipe to be bored under 2-inch pipe, is that right?
2 inches, what I'm told, yes.
Mike, that manhole is in the front of Keesler?
No, it's past Keesler. It's gonna be, east of Keesler.
Okay. How far off of Tyner Road is it?
I mean, it's not that far off.
Okay.
So Keesler had to run a big line over there to it. For great, now there is a 4-inch water line there on the west corner of that driveway. That's, I hope whatever's going there is gonna use some water because it does get, it will get cloudy, because that's a big 4-inch line, so it's gonna have to use some water this year.
Yeah.
Or we'll have to do something else for it, try and blow it off. Especially if y'all tie in, can tell me that.
So the manhole is on Tyner. I think I'm looking at it, but kind of in between the two buildings out by the road. Okay.
So we're talking about laying the pipe hypothetically to the edge of that property on the city's right of way so that they can tie in when they build, and the grinding station would be the responsibility of the property owner.
At this point, we have to wait for Rocky on the.
Steve, you understand what my resistance to ground?
Yes, sir, I do.
I understand the city don't want to take
Oh,
responsibility.
it's not that, it's not that. I've been burned. My whole campaign for about 3 months was talking to people face to face about these pumps and the responsibility to keep them.
And what Mr. Strickland's talking about is, you know, some homeowners take care of the grinder pumps, they don't run trash in there, you know, stuff that ain't supposed to be in there. And some of them abuse that, and then there we are, where the city is having to pay. Or did the city have to pay for these pumps?
No.
Only if we require them to have them.
There's probably about 20 of them in the city that we're on the hook for.
That's just homeowners.
Yeah, just homeowners. We have no commercial grinders.
Yeah, and I,
Now, what situations is the city, responsible for? I mean, every place I've ever sold that has a grinder pump.
If we require them, if we
When
make, if we require them to have them.
This is probably 06, 07, they came through and added sewer to a large area of the annexed area, and I think that's gonna be the annexed area, it's gonna be the only area you're gonna see this that did not have existing sewer, that they would come in, and if they were gonna, and they required people that could get gravity to tap in 6 months. If they didn't tap in, they're gonna start getting a bill one way or the other in 6 months, whether they're getting the service or not, and because it was available. And then there was I wanna say around 20 houses that didn't.
and it became a certificated area.
So they said, okay, just from a compliance matter, we'll go ahead and hook them up, and their raw deal in the situation, they like to pay electricity on the thing.
Well, and that's a weird situation. We get it. That's not what we're asking for. We don't want it 2 years later, city be on the hook for any motor or anything like that. It'll be in contract and everything else, and I'm sure y'all are gonna see it if it did get approved. Just gotta put it there, that's it.
Okay.
You provided sewer, and now maintenance is the responsibility of the property owner.
And maybe the only thing, before we set a precedence here, because this would set a precedence, I don't know if we need to go into, executive session, because like I said, we're gonna be based on numbers. We're gonna say, and we're right now, you're talking about tell us in an open forum, but, I'd like to know for sure what the actual business is, the timeline, some specifics, not kind of some needless, everyone's spending money without having, if we go into executive session, we can actually flush the details out, to make sure that that's something that we're comfortable if we're going to make a precedence here and offer taxpayer money for the pipe.
Would you like to do that?
I would, if be good.
I think that's a legitimate reason. I mean, property
Now,
development.
do it now or at the end, I mean, I'm just basing your time, I mean, best way to execute.
Possibly, we possibly could knock that. If it was a longer meeting, I would say let's go ahead and do it now, but yeah, we can go ahead and knock that out and come back to this, if I'd like to.
So we'll be going into executive
Yeah, just
session
sit-
after
sit back for
this,
another 15,
and
20
yeah,
minutes.
you'll stay with us for.
You good, Doc?
Thank you
Good,
very much.
we'll run through the rest of the meeting.
Okay.
And it should happen.
Thank you very much.
Get your money out of this.
Bullshit.
All righty, number 5, is there a motion to request to set a hearing date of November 22nd at 6 PM for the following properties: 873 US Highway 11 and 411 East Central Avenue.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, number 6, request to transfer one 2022 Dodge Ram 2500 with the listed asset from the street department to the recreation department. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? And I will mention this is part of, your ears probably perked up because it said street department. This is actually a vehicle that hasn't been in our fleet over there, and it's been one that I've actually been driving around. I've always said I need a truck in case I see a possum in the middle of the road. But, anyway, we're moving over to the rec department now, and we're fixing to deal with another thing, getting rid of one of their trucks. And I think ultimately, Josh will end up, Josh here?
No.
Josh will end up with the truck when it's all said and done, because I think he's got an extended bed. That really, the workers really need it, so he can have that one. And he's got 17,000 miles on his. That one has like 3,000, so it'll be an upgrade for him, and he's getting rid of a not so good truck. We'll see how much money we can get for that. But I got a motion, got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 7, request to send one 2006 GMC Canyon in the rec department to auction. There it is right there.
Gotcha.
Got a motion, got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 8, request to dispose of one variable speed reciprocating saw with the listed asset in the water department.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 9, request to approve facility use agreement with the American Red Cross for the Tuttle Civic Center.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Request to send one 2011 Ford E350 with the listed VIN number in the police department to auction. Is there a motion?
Motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Alrighty, and number 11, request to approve the docket of claims for the month of October 2022.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Don't I usually mispronounce this, Amy? Number 12, request for Amy Heath.
Wait,
Do
you
it.
don't have the, you don't have the new ones?
He's like, give that.
There are 13. Well, this is all marked up. Is this yours?
Send you one. You're on 13.
You can Josh, give me straight, Josh.
I will, Tony.
I mean, this is a little bit.
That's usually what's up there. I told her.
Yeah, I got that, that's where I got it.
All right, number.
Number 12.
Oh, okay, number 12. Thank you, Josh.
All right, buddy.
Number 12, request to authorize an insurance premium holiday for employees for the month of November and December. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 13, Steve's got it all marked up. I'm gonna read through this. Request to place miscellaneous equipment in the Public Works Department up for auction on Gov deals. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
What we got, Mike?
That's something, Steve, that we're trying to look at some of the older stuff we got and get a good piece of equipment with it and see what we can get for the money.
Is that the truck and stuff too? That-
Yes.
Really haven't done anything? Good, I appreciate that.
Some old stuff that we got that don't work. And
If it's sitting there, so.
Okay. Good deal. Got a motion, got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Now can I go back? Can I get
Yes.
Steve this piece of paper back?
Oh, well, no, because there's maybe another edition. There is.
All right, seminars and travel. Request for Amy Heath to attend BOAM. BOAM, that should be BOAM. BOAM Winter Conference in Natchez on November 29th through December 2nd, at a cost of $791.85. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 15, request for Melissa Martin and Lynn Cantfield to attend Region 4 Municipal Clerks Conference in Flowood, and that's December 14th through the 16th. Total cost $641.96 each, and mileage. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And number 16, request for Drew Kraft and Brandon Clark to attend Hazmat Tech 1 testing in Gulfport on November 4th. Total cost $0. Good job, Chief. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 17, request for Bartley Faulkner and Timothy Brown to attend Hazmat Tech 1 training in Gulfport on November 14th through the 18th. Total cost zero.
Most of it, I can do it.
That's right, you do. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I just don't wanna know why Melissa and Lynn need money and these guys don't.
How come she don't get zero classes? All right, number 18, request for Will Lewis to attend hazmat tech course in Gulfport. That's the 14th through the 18th of November. Total cost zero again. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, chief.
All righty, now the good stuff. Number 19, orders and ordinances. Request to adopt an order hiring LaPrincess Jackson full-time as billing manager in the water department at a rate of $15 per hour effective November 3rd, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now I can say it. LaPrincess, where you at? Come on up here. Everybody has to get
Floor is
on,
yours.
everybody has to get on YouTube and give a speech before we say that. Anyway, welcome to the family. We always try to get folks in here to say hello because we don't want our aldermen or even myself walking into Walmart bumping into somebody who works with us and us not know who they are. Anyway, this is LaPrincess. How you been doing?
I'm great. I'm happy to be a part of the team and I look forward to helping you guys out any way I can.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. What part do you start on?
Tomorrow.
Right. Awesome.
We got $600,000 worth of billing.
Yeah, they're fine, of course.
It's
I think I plan on
not
going
for
home
a
in
reason.
town.
Good deal.
Thank you.
You got a guest with you.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is my husband, Tommy. He's been having a sleep.
Awesome. Good deal. Good seeing y'all. Thank y'all. Look forward to working with you. All righty, number 20, request to begin the 2-week review of ordinance increasing the rate of pay for planning commission members. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Now, I would like to see, has anybody got anything, Miss Ada? You don't have
I just
anything?
want to ask the person so I can understand this. What is BOAM?
Me and you should call it, BOAM. They call it BOAM.
And that's what?
What,
Amy?
It's the
Building
Officials
something or another.
Association in Mississippi.
And you actually have what are you with that organization, Amy?
I am director on the board of directors for BOEM, and I'm also vice president of Region 9 for International Code Council.
So they make you pay to come to this council?
I know, right?
Be in the hierarchy, you would think. All righty,
Valerie said something.
oh yeah, Valerie, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody, next Friday, Veterans Day, we're having a big celebration down here, appreciation celebration for our veterans at the Civic Center, 12 to 2. Please bring our veterans there and our active duty personnel. But we're gonna feed them and treat them to a good day.
I think Alderman Stringer is going to be flipping burgers. Alderman Locke will be there serving cookies, might be good cookies, right? Good, good, awesome. Well, I'd like to, is there a motion to see the need for an executive session?
Motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Hey.
Tony,
That number 9 that was on there about the Red Cross, is that gonna be like just like a shelter?
Yeah, that's